So we look up the word existentialist, and existentialism. We see that it has to do with matters pertaining to why we're here. And that the idea that the existentialist believes is that people are given free will to figure this out. We look at the left wing saying accept differences. We look at the right wing with their constitutional arguments. The freedom of speech, freedom of expression, freedom of assembly. People aren't supposed to get together and provoke someone and then turn around and say, hey, this guy's a threat, let's run a psyop on him. Okay? It shouldn't work like that. Corporations shouldn't be able to tread on one's freedom, even if everyone's in a corporation except for one person. I do not go through life trying to get money. I do not go through life backed up by a church or anything like that. On my own, every day I go on the internet and I say, do you have a viable counter argument to my martial art interpretation of the Bible? I cite Isaiah and Psalm and Proverbs and Ecclesiastes and Micah and Amos and Revelation and Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Acts. They have no viable counter argument. As I cite Genesis and Numbers and Chronicles and 1st and 2nd Samuel and 1st and 2nd Kings, they have no viable counter argument. The Lord is a warrior, Exodus 15:3. Nobody says that's wrong. Isaiah 42:13, the Lord will march out as a champion. No one says that's wrong. But they think they should cover up my view. I've already made clear I don't intend to reproduce. Luke 23, blessed are the childless wombs. Why? Because you won't give me my bare minimum rights. Because you made a world so evil. Because you made it so there's no moral path after I die. Because you're all hell-bent to conform and to play life like a theater and to be hypocrites. You raised your daughters to shun me, and if I had a son, you'd raise your grandchildren to shun him. That's why I'm not going to reproduce. Because none of you, I haven't found a single one of you that truly worships God with all their heart. You all are guilty of breaking the greatest commandment. And do unto others. If you were the top martial artist, would you want to be cheated out of your rightful place? To be almost 40 years old, living with your parents, so a bunch of hypocrites can mock you, talking about no scrubs allowed? Is that what you would want done to you? You don't love the Lord with all your heart, all your mind, all your soul, and you don't do unto others what you would have them do unto you. You love your families more than God. And that's not real love, because God is love. Why are we here? To be petty fools and to put our race above everything else? Look at what Martin Luther King said. Judge someone by the content of their character, not the color of their skin. Our lives begin to end when we are silent about things that matter. No one else is telling the truth but me. No one acknowledges me for who I am publicly but me, except for someone in a kind of half-hearted attempt like a while back. Okay? An injustice for one is an injustice for all. And everything else that I would apply that Martin Luther King said. Let's face it. I'm not being treated fairly, and the highest form of intelligence has to do with martial art applications of the sound conclusion when one looks at it from an existential perspective in terms of why are we here? What does the evidence suggest? When King Solomon judged between the two women, did he just pray and give a judgment? Or did he look at the evidence and said, cut her in half, and he said, aha, that woman truly loves that child. When we look at the evidence, well, who is God's son? This guy's telling the truth. They're all playing a game. A game that historically was used to kill people if they told the truth, especially black people in this country. The Klan went around saying which black person is going to argue things in a way that suggests that that someone else is chosen, than who they want. Okay? Which one of you are going to say, hey, maybe we're going to draw parallels between Exodus and slavery in America? Okay, which one of you are going to say that? Blow up their church. They hang them. They burn them down. They do these horrible things. That's the history of it. When they rush the Capitol, that's the history of it. How come when I'm persecuted as a black person and people in hate groups rush the Capitol, all you law enforcement groups don't lift a finger to stop it? You should cancel the PSYOP immediately. You don't do that because you're the terrorists. You have no viable counterargument. Stop terrorizing me. Grow up. Start loving your kids and obey God through me.